Hey, I'm Jason Fitzgerald, and you're watching Q&A with Coach. In this episode, I'm going to help you decide what goal to tackle after a marathon. All right, welcome back to Q&A with Coach. This is episode 23, I believe. And I'm publishing this on the day of the Boston Marathon. Now, the Boston Marathon is the world's most prestigious marathon. It's been run for over 100 years. I believe this is the 121st running of the Boston Marathon. And I remember when I got my confirmation of acceptance, it was a very special day. And for many runners, after any marathon, whether it's Boston or Chicago, Berlin, what have you, there's this feeling of being lost afterwards. Even if you accomplish your goal, if you run a PR, qualify for Boston, whatever it may be, afterwards, you're not really sure where to go and what to do from there. So here I'm gonna help you look at some of the things that you can do after a marathon to make sure that your fitness is still progressing and that you keep getting faster. So first and foremost, after any marathon, you wanna make sure that you're recovering properly. So the first step of proper marathon recovery is taking the right amount of time off. For some runners, that might only be 4 or 5 days of no running. For other runners, that might be up to 2 weeks of no running. It really depends on how hard the marathon was for you, your experience and ability level, and your drive to keep running after a race. Because I know for many people, me included, after running 26.2 miles, I want a significant break. I've trained really hard for a really long period of time, and I want some downtime. I want some downtime so that I don't have to worry about getting in my run every single day. So after you have 4, maybe up to 14 days off completely from running, what do you do then? Well, you really need some easy running after that break because you're not ready to jump back into hard training. In fact, the body isn't really 100% recovered from a marathon until 3 or maybe even 4 weeks after you finish the race, because recovery isn't just making sure that any muscle soreness is gone. Recovery has much more to do with your entire body than that. You need to let your endocrine system, your hormonal levels, return back to normal. You need to make sure that, yes, all that microscopic trauma to your muscles has been healed and properly recovered from. So that easy running is going to help facilitate that recovery process. So you might need about 2 weeks of easy running. Now, what exactly do I mean by easy running? So first, there's volume. Your mileage should be a lot lower. You want to be probably half the distance of your total weekly mileage than you were during peak marathon training. So if you were at 40 miles per week during peak marathon training, maybe these easy weeks are somewhere around 20 miles per week. And that's ensuring that you're not doing too much mileage too soon before you're ready. And then the other aspect of things is the intensity side. And you don't really want to do any hard workouts for at least the first 2 weeks that you're back running after the marathon. Now, that doesn't mean you don't want to run fast at all. There's a difference between hard workouts and fast workouts. I want you to run fast, but I don't want you to run hard. So with fast running, you can do strides, you can do some fast finish runs, perhaps a progression run, or maybe you can do a relatively easy fartlek workout where you're running for maybe 1 or 2 minutes at a time at, say, a 10K or tempo pace with a full recovery. So you're still running fast, but you're getting a lot of recovery. You're not doing a high volume of work at that pace. And that's just to keep the wheels spinning a little bit, maintain some muscle memory, maintain some fitness, but not really overly challenge your body. During this time, you should also keep doing your strength work. Now, you shouldn't be in the gym doing really challenging Olympic lifts or those kinds of strength workouts. Those are very taxing to the nervous system, and the nervous system is one area that needs recovery after the marathon. So let's skip the really challenging Olympic lifts, and instead, we can get back to the more runner-specific body weight strength exercises that you can do at home. things like the standard core routine, the ITB rehab routine, the gauntlet plank workout. These are all great body weight strength exercises that aren't too challenging, that are going to help you get back into the normal rhythm of training. So now the big question is, okay, you've recovered from your marathon, you've started running easy, you're doing a little bit of easy workouts, you're doing some strength work. What next? Where do you go from there? Do you run another marathon? Do you try for another PR? Do you focus on something entirely different? And there's really 3 options here that I think you have. And each one has pros and cons. So first, you can try for another marathon. You know, I like to see runners race no more than 2, maybe 3 marathons in a year. But my general rule is that you should race no more than 3 marathons every 2 years. So how that looks is a spring marathon, a fall marathon, another spring marathon the following year, and then you take that fall season off of the following year. And this makes sure that you're not always doing the same training to get ready for the same type of race. Variety is very important, and by stressing your body with shorter races or different types of races and different workouts, you're going to keep progressing. So even if your ultimate goal is to run a fast marathon, you don't want to race marathons all the time. So then the other thing that you can do, and this is my personal favorite, is change the focus entirely and really work on building your speed. So let's focus on 5K, 10K races for an entire season. So your goal race might be a 5K. Now, a lot of runners struggle with running a 5K as their goal race. You know, 5Ks are looked at as, you know, the local fun run on the weekend. It's not something that you spend 4 months training for. But if you want to keep getting fast, you must keep training and you must keep focusing on races of all different distances. So that is my preferred big goal that runners tackle after a marathon. Let's change the focus up. Let's work on a different aspect of our running fitness and get fast. Now, the final thing that you can do is somewhere in the middle. You can train for a mid-distance race, you know, somewhere from roughly 10 miles, maybe even up to 25 kilometers. So if you have a race in that range, then you're going to be doing some different workouts that you're not going to be doing during marathon training, but you're still doing a relatively high volume. You're still focusing mostly on aerobic type of workouts. So it's a nice way to get a little bit of both the speed and the endurance training in one training program. Now, no matter what you choose, no matter if you're going to go for another marathon in another 5 months or if you're going to start focusing on 5Ks, the number one goal is to continue training. Yes, you're going to take some downtime. Yes, you're going to have a couple weeks of really easy, relatively unstructured running, but there's a big difference between running for exercise and running as training. If you want to get faster, if you want to be a faster runner, a stronger runner, then you must be training, and that requires some structure. That requires doing a fast workout, doing a long run, having some polarized training. I like to call training that's polarized that you have some days very easy, but some days very hard. And that really makes sure that you're prioritizing fitness and recovery depending on the day. So those are 2 very different types of sessions that you're going to have during your week. And exercise doesn't really do that. Exercise, if you're running just for general health, you might be running a half an hour or maybe even up to an hour multiple times per week, but there's not a lot of structure to your running. By training rather than exercising, you're moving toward a very specific goal. Maybe that goal is a marathon or it's a 5K, but you're progressing toward that goal. And so if you're just coming off of a marathon, maybe it's Boston, maybe it's a different marathon this season, then I want you to think strategically about how you can keep moving forward after this race. So, you know, it might be that marathon, or it might be training for the 800 meters or the mile. No matter what it is, I want to encourage you to keep training. And if you need some help planning out your season, no matter what kind of race you're training for, we do have a really helpful season planner worksheet that you can download. I'll have a link somewhere up around here that you can just click on to get that season planner. And I want to wish you best of luck with your next training season. And if you did just run Boston, I hope it went really well for you. I hope you had fun making that right on Hereford and left on Boylston. It's one of the most historic finishes in the entire marathon industry. So hope you had fun, and best of luck with your next season.